How's it going, guys? So we're going to see what it would cost each NHL team to trade for Erik Karlsson. If you guys didn't know, Ottawa actually asked for his 10-team no-trade list. Now, this doesn't mean he's going to be traded, but it does mean there's at least, some chance of it, whereas I think last year he was like 100% not on the table, not being traded. And now, because of how bad Ottawa's been doing lately, I think they're at least, exploring all possibilities. So, where you can see, obviously, the best defenseman in the NHL, in my opinion, 27 years old, 92 overall, franchise potential in this game, max trade value, currently making $6.5 million there. And obviously, like I was saying, he's just an absolute beast. You can see all of his skills there are 5 stars, except for physical at 3.5. And he's actually on this amazing contract, making $6.5 million for the next 2 years. So really, the fact he's that good on that good of a contract makes his value so high. But the fact that he needs a new contract soon is what's kind of making Ottawa consider trading him, as they might not be able to afford the new contract. So right here, I actually had the trade difficulty set to hard. I forgot to mention that at the beginning. And as you can see, it actually cost McDavid and 2 first-round picks to trade for Karlsson on hard trade difficulties. So I thought that was way too unrealistic. Turned it down to medium. Unfortunately, I had already gone through like 10 teams, so I had to restart. So here's the Anaheim offer. This is now on medium trade difficulty. I thought it made a lot more sense. Made the trades a lot more realistic. So you got Getzlaf and Lindholm there for Karlsson and Burrows. You'll see in a lot of these trades I have to take back either Burrows or Thomas or MacArthur just for the roster spot and cap, as Ottawa's actually max contracts, and they're great against the cap too. So a lot of deals just had that extra player there for that reason. Arizona here trying to trade them Chychrun, Strome, and a first. Obviously, Chychrun's a good young defenseman. Strome, he's a big question mark. Like, he might not even pan out. So right here we have Chychrun, Strome, and 2 firsts. And I believe Ottawa says yes to this. Was actually, I think, a steal for Arizona. Like, really, they're giving up basically Chychrun. With those 2 firsts. With Karlsson on Arizona, I should say, those 2 firsts shouldn't be in the lottery. Like, they should be a playoff team. And what's crazy, too, is with that, they actually have Ekman Larsson, Karlsson, and Jarmelson. So half of Sweden's Olympic defensive core on their team. So, like, there's really no way, I don't think, that they would finish as bad as they're doing right now. That team would definitely get turned around after that trade. Next, we have Boston offering them McAvoy and Bergeron for Karlsson. Obviously, you get a stud young defenseman in McAvoy and a very good center in Bergeron. Arguably the best defensive center in the game. Now, they didn't say yes to this. A lot of trades you'll see, I try to do just the players, but ends up taking like a first-round pick to try to push you over the edge, get Ottawa to say yes. Next up here, we have Buffalo offered them Nylander, Ristolainen, and I believe Lekin in there. They said no to that, so again, adding a first-round pick, and I think they say yes to this. That's a big, big trade there. Ristolainen's a good offensive defenseman. Nylander isn't in the AHL right now, but still a very good prospect. Same goes for Lehkonen. A lot to give up, but I think like Buffalo getting Karlsson there is huge, especially to keeping Jack Eichel. You'll see with most of these trades, I try and keep like the team's superstars if I can. A lot of times, like, there was no way to make a trade without them, so would have to just use them just to see what it would cost. Calgary here, I think, actually gets a pretty solid deal. Kachuk, Giordano, Brody, couple firsts. I mean, I would rather have Karlsson than Giordano and Brody. Kachuk, obviously that hurts to give up, but I mean, Calgary with Karlsson back there, you still have Monahan, Gaudreau. You're stacked. Carolina here, this actually went through. All 3 of their first-round picks Ottawa wanted, and they had a lot of value, so them with Falk and Hannafin. Next year, we have Chicago, offered Taze and Keith there. They said no. Obviously, too, that's a lot of salary coming back for Chicago, so that might be one of the reasons why they didn't want to do the deal, but simply adding a first-round pick there. Never mind, doesn't get it done. I think I'd add 2 first-round picks to get this one to go through. So I just kind of showed you it was pretty close, but they wanted those couple extra first-round picks. Next, we have Colorado. So Tyson Jost, very good young forward. You got Landeskog, so trying to trading captain for captain there. Colorado's first. Ottawa getting their first-round back that they actually traded for Duchesne. I'm sure they regret that trade. I think Terce has done much better than Duchesne since that trade. But so again, their first-round pick back, 2 Colorado first, Jost and Landeskog for Karlsson. Honestly, I think that's a decent deal too for Colorado. Like, Jost, I think, was injured and they're still playing fine. And then you have Karlsson back there. You still have McKinnon and Rantanen. Like, they're stacked. Columbus here, all players, Jones, Wenberg, Murray, and Corby Salo. Obviously, that's a huge trade, and it goes through, and that's a lot to give up for Columbus, but Karlsson, like, again, he's got the max trade value, in my opinion, the best defenseman in the NHL. It's going to cost a lot to get these trades to go through, and I think in Columbus' case, they have some pretty good depth at D. They can afford to make that move, plus they have Bobrovsky. Don't really need Corby Salo. Dallas here was trying to trade Heiskanen and Klingberg in 3 firsts, so their best defenseman, best prospect defenseman in 3 firsts, but would not go through, so eventually I realized I would just have to trade Seguin to get the trade to go through. Like I was saying, I would try and not trade like a team's, franchise player unless it was absolutely necessary. And still, even at Seguin and Heiskanen, they said no, I had to have the first-round pick, which I think's pretty crazy. I feel like in real life, Seguin and Heiskanen would definitely get you Karlsson if Ottawa was willing to trade him. Obviously, if they're not willing to trade him, unless you offer them pretty much McDavid or Crosby, even they might honestly say no to Crosby, but unless you offer them McDavid, they're probably just going to hang up the phone. Detroit here, I'm offering literally the best offer I can. Mantha, Tatar, and 3 first-round picks. Tatar is just there for the salary cap, and then Mantha and the 3 first had the most value, and still they said no. So Detroit just could not make a trade for Karlsson, the first team that was the case. Edmonton here, Draisaitl, Puljujarvi, Clefbaum in a first. This is actually pretty similar to some like mock trades I've seen. People were saying, I think, Draisaitl, Puljujarvi in a first for Karlsson, no Clefbaum, but in this game they also had to give up Clefbaum, which honestly, it's a lot to give up, especially with Draisaitl, so they could get away with that without Clefbaum. I think that's a pretty good deal. With Clefbaum, though, I don't know if I would do it as the Oilers. Florida here is basically trading their entire team, like their 3 best players there. Barkov, Huberdeau, Ekblad, and 2 first-round picks here to get Karlsson. I have no idea why. I think Ekblad and Huberdeau especially should have more value than they do, but yeah, so they basically trade their entire team there with 2 first-round picks for Karlsson. Karlsson's good. I don't know if I would trade like the entire core of Florida for him. LA here trying to trade Carter, who honestly a lot of teams would be a first-line center, but LA has Kopitar. Muzz and Martinez could be a top pair. Probably better off as like a second pair. Velarde's a very good prospect. Obviously played for Windsor in a first. They say no, so end up trying Kopitar, Muzzin, 2 first Velarde. They still say no even with Kopitar. So then I just said whatever. Let's try Doughty 1 for 1. Still not a good deal. So I ended up having to add Velarde to Doughty, and that actually made them say yes. This is probably controversial. I think personally, Doughty and Karlsson are about even. Doughty's a bit better defensively. Karlsson's a bit better offensively. So honestly, if they said no to the 1 for 1, I probably wouldn't do it. Minnesota here actually I think gets one of the better deals for Karlsson. Suter, who's making a lot of money for like 8 years. Stahl, who they kind of just got lucky signing. And then they also gave up Dumba, who's like, kind of good, kind of not with a first. And you get Karlsson back. I think that's great. Montreal here, so they're going to try and trade Weber. Again, he's a lot older than Karlsson, not as good. Pacioretty's a good scorer, but you can find them. And a first-round pick, you get Karlsson. I feel like that's a great deal for them. You can just go sign a scoring winger to replace Pacioretty. Nashville here, Yossi, Johansson, and 2 first. And this is a big give up. I really didn't want to try and give up Yossi, but ended up just having to. Like, they wouldn't take anything else. Obviously, I think Yossi's a great defenseman. Like Karlsson, on an amazing contract. $4 million there for him. Johansson, though, kind of overpaid, but Yossi, Johansson, and 2 first for Karlsson. Would I do it? I mean, maybe. Again, a lot of these trades is really tough. I'd love to hear from you guys if you're a fan of the team. Would you make the trade? So New Jersey here, they have to give up a ton. Taylor Hall, Nico Hischier, 3 first-round picks for Erik Karlsson. I was really hoping somehow we could have got it around like just Taylor Hall and picks. So it'd basically be like Larson and picks for Karlsson, but had to include Hischier there to get the deal to go through. With the Islanders, I tried just going to go Tavares and Barzal, but wasn't enough. But added the first-round pick. They actually said yes. I mean, imagine that. So they get back a first and second line center and a first-round pick. I mean, these are such good offers for Ottawa. The Rangers here, they actually declined this deal. McDonough, Shattenkirk, Zibanejad, and 2 first. So I figured I'll try something here, retain 50% of McDonough. Couldn't do this with Detroit as they didn't have like the cap to do it. But even doing it with New York, they still say no. So New York's actually the second team where they just don't have the assets to trade for Karlsson. Even Lundqvist, just because he's so old, his value's not that high. The Philadelphia Flyers here, trying to trade Patrick, Provorov, and Simmons. They say no. I think I just add a first-round pick. So again, tried to keep like the top line intact. Kept Giroux, Voracek, and Couturier. And they actually do say yes to this, which is obviously a ton to give up, but they lucked into Patrick. Karlsson's a huge upgrade on Provorov. So then it's kind of like Simmons in a first or Karlsson. Why would you not do that? Next year, Letang, Hornqvist, Sprong, and 2 firsts as Pittsburgh. That's insane deal. Like, Hornqvist is a depth player, Sprong's in the AHL. So 2 firsts in Letang. Letang was injured last year. They still won the Cup. Imagine Karlsson on Pittsburgh. Like, him, Crosby, Malkin, Ketzel. It's unfair. I don't know. Like, that team would be absolutely stacked. San Jose Sharks here. This is a trade I don't know. This is a weird trade. You're trading 2 older players that are like core pieces on San Jose for Karlsson here. In both Burns and Pavelski with a couple first-round picks. Karlsson's younger. He's better than Burns in my opinion. So another one that's kind of controversial. Would I do it? It's really tough to say. The Blues here, they actually reject Pietrangelo and Schwartz, which is kind of crazy. Like, Pietrangelo's having a great year. Schwartz also having a great year. I feel like that alone would get it done. So ended up adding Fitzpatrick here, a good young goaltender. And I think I actually might have to add a first-round pick as well. Trying to remember all these trades a little bit tough. Do they just do it for... no, never mind. They just do it for Fitzpatrick added. So that's a trade where it's like, maybe I do it. Maybe like Schwartz is just having a lucky year. He'll regress, in which case it's Pietrangelo and the goalie for Karlsson, which is pretty fair. Tampa Bay here, I wanted to try and get this trade done without trading Hedman. As you can see there, I was trading like Foot and Sergachev, some prospects and picks. They wouldn't do it. I figured I could get that to go through, though. How amazing would a pair of like Hedman and Karlsson be on Tampa Bay with Stamkos and Kucherov at the front? Like, that would just be, again, kind of like Pittsburgh. Unfair in my opinion, but they said no, so end up having to trade Hedman, Foot, and a first-round pick, which is a ton to give up. But still, Karlsson's on another level than Hedman, so Foot, who's a good prospect, and a first, which will probably be like a second if you get him, is not too much of a an ad, I guess, to upgrade to Karlsson. So next we have Toronto here. They have to give up a huge package. As you can see there, Nylander, Marner, Riley, and 2 firsts. I was trying to get that done with just one of Nylander or Marner, but Ottawa kept saying no. Vancouver here, Julevi, Peterson, and a couple firsts. I thought that would go through. Like, Julevi's got a ton of value, same with Peterson. So they get like a good young defenseman, good young center, a couple firsts. End up having to add Michael DiPietro. I actually almost added Thatcher Demko, but was able to keep him. And so in this case, like, if Vancouver got Karlsson, in a couple of years, they actually might be solid with all the other young players like Barchi, Besser, Horvat. Vegas here is actually the 3rd team, just like Detroit, New York, that can't get Karlsson. Made them the 5 best player offer I could with 2 firsts, Neal, Fleury, and Suzuki, I think. They still said no. Washington here, they said no to Kuznetsov, Karlsson, Johansson there, and a couple first-round picks. So end up actually having to trade this up. Exchanged, I think, Kuznetsov for Backstrom. Was really hoping I could get Karlsson without trading over Backstrom, but they just weren't having it. So Backstrom there's got quite a lot of extra value compared to Kuznetsov, but still, I mean, I don't know. Karlsson's good. He's not good as Erik Karlsson. You give us some firsts, but I mean, imagine Karlsson just feeding the puck to Ovi. That would be deadly on the power play. And then lastly here you have the Winnipeg Jets offering offering Ottawa Bufflin, not Buffalo. I think they also had Trouba there, Ehlers, Comrie's a good young goalie, and a first. They actually still reject that, so I think I ended up just taking out Comrie, adding 2 firsts. Again, would I rather have Bufflin and Trouba or Karlsson? I'd obviously rather have Karlsson. Ehlers, I think Winnipeg has enough forward depth, they can kind of replace him. And I mean, just adding Karlsson to that Winnipeg offense that's already stacked would just be absolutely insane. So right there, guys, you have it. The 30 NHL teams trying to make their trades for Karlsson. Also, you know which team you think got the best deal for Karlsson? Honestly, I think it might have been Carolina, trading Falk, Hanifin, and 3 firsts. Like, with Karlsson, those firsts aren't going to be worth anything. And then, again, I'd much rather have Karlsson than both Falk and Hanifin. But definitely, guys, in the comment section, let me know. Obviously, this is just for fun. Is Karlsson actually going to get traded? Is it all just rumors? We're probably going to find out here very soon. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave that thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, make sure you do that. On the road to 100K. Need you guys' help. Thank you guys again for watching. Have a nice day. Goodbye.